Straight up and down, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. It's a Friday. It is September the 27th. Yellow again, everybody. It's Randy Hales wearing my Johnny Cash Folsom Prison Blue t-shirt, and we're ready to go with a special edition, a special Friday edition of the Randy Hales Show. We have scheduled, and hopefully he will show up, Brad B.C. Collins will be coming our way in just a little bit. We're going to talk a lot of things today, and this is going to be alive. It's going to be interactive. Later on in the show, I'll post a link that I've already posted on my Facebook page and my Twitter page that you guys will make this a talk show radio type of format where we would like this to be viewer driven. So we would like you guys to talk about anything professional wrestling, anything you want to talk about. If you're in Florida, if you've been in Georgia, man, you might want to talk about the tornado type of weather or the hurricane type of weather that was there. Anything you want to talk about. We have one person that's commented so far, and that's Thomas Lemon. We have more than that in the house. Jeff! Well, it was great seeing you, Jeff, for sure. And we'll talk a lot about a night to remember that took place last Saturday night at the Picture Perfect Event Center in Jackson, Tennessee. For those of you that caught it, for those of you that's seen any of the video, man, we're going to show some of that video here today. What do you think about it? What do you have to say? Man, would love to hear from you. I want to show some pictures, and one great picture that we have was in the Arab, Alabama newspaper yesterday. It was front page, and it's the picture of Michael St. John and his great Hall of Fame plaque and his grandson Joshua on the front page of the paper. And we were thrilled to death to see this. I want to show you this motley crew of people. My hand, I don't know if you see it, but on my left, long sleeve blue shirt, blue jeans, is Pat Trammell. Beside him is the Boogie Woogie Man. At the very end, there's Bo James. Our guest in just a few minutes, Brad B.C. Collins, is there. He with the short and the t-shirt in between me and Bo James, and Bo's nephew is in the house as well. His nephew is Jake Booth. Hey, Jeff did have a great time in Jackson, Tennessee. We appreciate that. We have video coming certainly that we want people to. I sent a couple of videos out. We're saving video, the entire thing for a project we're doing, and it was shared on a few Facebook pages, and so Adam made it private, and he has loaded it. I don't have access to it except he loaded it on this program here. Nicholas Oakes from California sending great vibes for us, and we give them also as well. PJ says hello everybody, and my buddy Shane Russell, son of Lance, says, hey Randy, all I can say is glad we were sparred from that hurricane. It was a monster and it was devastating, and I am glad you're good. I am glad you're safe. We are bringing on to the show right now my man from North Carolina. I think he's asleep. He is
No,
looking
no, no,
down.
no.
I
How
was
you doing,
trying to
Randy?
give you the proper introduction. You traveled further than anybody, coming about, what was it, Brad? 11 hour trip? 11-hour trip, is that correct?
Yeah, it was about 10 and a half to get there. Getting there was no problem. Getting back, however, put me back about an hour and a half, hour 45 because of traffic through Nashville and Knoxville. Bo
I
James made some
heard
posts about
there was
that
a big
too.
there was a big concert in Knoxville, and Bo James got caught up bad as well.
Who I wonder if that was the Morgan Wallen show.
Yes, I think it was.
Okay, because I saw billboards on it on Thursday driving through. Okay, so I didn't know. Hell, Randy, I did country radio for 30 years, and I know who Morgan Wallen is. Man, I've been out of it for a couple of years, and I haven't. I can tell you anybody current right now.
I want to put up a comment from Shane Russell. It's to you, Brad. It says, "Hey, Brad, good seeing you again. It was a
Hey, Shane,
pleasure meeting you."
here we go, man.
All right. Yellow again, everybody. You have your props ready for you, and you made Shane money. He made more money from you than he made from me, but I made him a lot of memories. I made him a lifetime dream to share a stage with the king, with the superstar, and mostly with my man Dave Brown. Pat Trammell is in the house, and we showed that picture earlier. And Pat says enjoyed being with Brad and all our friends.
Yeah,
And
I got to. It was great to talk with him too.
there's a lot of nice people around. Want to show this picture again just because Pat just joined the show. That is Pat and Jake and Handsome and me and Brad and Bo James. So we had a blast, my man. We had a blast. I'm sure, I don't know, because I was going at it for a couple of months straight working on this thing, but I bet you were worn out.
Yeah, it was. I tell you, once I got to the Picture Perfect Event Center about 3 o'clock or so, and once I got there, it was go. I picked up my creds, and it was go time. And I kind of start out slow at these things. I don't really know what to do at times, but once I get up and I meet a few people, I get a little more comfortable with being in that environment. It just takes me a little bit more time to kind of warm up. And I was very uh, impressed with how nice everybody was that was in there. Just not only the wrestlers, and it was the people, their vendors that were there with them, and their wives and their husbands and their kids and part of their family. Were all there. I got to have some really good conversations with some people, Randy, and that's those precious moments, man. I mean, you can't put a price on it.
Well, I want you to share with the people because I just happened to message you when I got to the hotel. We were sharing the same hotel, and you met a wrestler. And with that, you helped me with that wrestler. As again, I was busy, as people can imagine. I was very busy, in and out, and up and down, sideways, everywhere. And you helped me out by giving rides and and just did a great job. Tell them about the first wrestler that you met there at the hotel. We helped save him, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, we did. I got a story about that. It was Handsome Jimmy. Um, he's a jewel, Randy. I know you've known him for a long time, and just sitting down and talking with the man was very precious, any of his time. And I got to spend a lot of time with Handsome Jimmy, and we talked about a lot of things. A lot
He
of
is
it wasn't about, and a lot of it wasn't even about wrestling. It was about he knows. I know the area where he lives, and he knows a lot about Winchester that I spent a lot of time. He knows that's Patsy Cline birthplace, and and he likes his old country music, and we had a lot of that to talk about. Um, but he's a special kind of person, I tell you. He was just great to talk with, and was just extremely nice. And it was my pleasure to be able to, to help him around. I'm glad that we were able to get him where he needed to be on time and all. So,
I'm
but yeah,
glad.
I was the story. I'm in my room. It's Friday, and I'm just sitting there on my laptop. I'm doing a little work, and I hear this just commotion going on down the hall. So I muted the TV because I wanted to hear what it was. And all I could hear was this woman screaming at somebody like, "Sir, unlock the door. Sir, move the handle. Sir, do this, do that. turn the the knob or turn the bolt lock, and I could barely hear a gentleman speaking, and that went on for such a long time. And finally, they ended up getting it open, and I didn't know who it was. A little later, you messaged me and said, we're down here in the lobby. I go down, and it was Handsome Jimmy, and he was the one that was having the problems with the door.
He
God
locked
bless him.
himself into his room. And real quick, I want to, Jeff says, Brad, didn't Pat Rose's son, Camden, sing great on the Star Spangled Banner?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, he was fantastic. A great addition to do that. And he was. I don't think I got a chance to meet him, but yeah, he was up there and just did it right. It was it was a good addition there. What you had.
A couple of things from Bo James, my buddy Bo James. He says, hey guys, we are safe, RH, in East Tennessee. Uh, he says East Tennessee and Western North Carolina are in a bad way with the tornado coming through. And King of Kingsport, Bo James says one of Handsome's favorite restaurant is a steakhouse buffet in Winchester, Virginia. I can't remember the name, but we've stopped there many a times. Do you know
It may
what?
have been Haas's. It may have been Haas's Steak and Sea, which closed a long time ago. That's the only steakhouse buffet because Golden Corral was around, but I don't think that's what he meant. Yeah, it was right off of a pretty big highway, which is close to 81. So that's got to be the one that he's talking about.
We're
Randy,
going. Go ahead.
I just wanted to backtrack just a tad on the weather situation. I mean, how is everything good in Jonesboro? I mean, did
Oh
you get
yeah, I mean it
flooding?
just rained all day. Oh, I had a good day. Quit early, but yeah, it just rained. All it was, just rain.
Yeah, here in the Raleigh area, it was a flood. I mean, we had tornado warnings going on, and my yard was completely flooded, uh, and down just the road was flooded. And then when it stopped, a little later, the sun came out, and all that stuff's kind of gone away. And we had a nice breeze that came along to help dry up some of that water. But those folks in the Panhandle of Florida and in East Tennessee, Western North Carolina, man, they really got it bad there. There's some really really rough stuff there.
This show today, I always love talk radio, talk sports radio. I like caller driven shows, and it's been my goal to make this a caller driven show. From the Carolinas, we have Brad Collins, and we have a guy, and we're going to bring him on because he had a lot to do with one of my favorite deals of the show of Night to Remember. He did a wonderful piece of artwork. There is no doubt about it. And coming in from, where are you, Scott? Where in Kentucky are you?
I am outside of Taylorsville, Kentucky.
What's that close to?
Uh, Taylor,
Okay.
Taylor,
Is it close to Louisville?
Taylorsville is about 35 minutes from Louisville. I'm about 35 minutes outside of Taylorsville, so I'm about an hour from Louisville.
I'm going to let Brad talk about. Of course, we had two presentations. One of the presentations was a great belt that we had made for the rivalry for the ages, and that was great. Also, we presented Lawler and Dundee with great, great pictures, and they were done, created, and drawn and painted the whole 9 yards. Brad, that was a neat part of the ceremony, correct?
Yes, and Scott, it's good to see you again. We got hooked up on Messenger, and I got some good pictures of that when they got presented to them, and that shot.
I appreciate that.
Sure, man. And that shot, now it was 1987, I believe, and they had the AWA tag titles. Was that in the picture? I didn't really get a good look up close of it, but
that was inspired by when they came out supporting the AW World Tag Team titles, and there was just I was probably I was probably about 11 or 12 and feeling a and superstar and
Yeah.
how they against each other. Those two names, just see it was rivalry and everything. It's just unmatched. There's not consistently over 40 something years. Look at what those two have done. What other two men in wrestling have ever done anything like that? Anything comparable?
Yeah.
So it just speaks for itself.
Right now, we're going to break in, and the microphone will be hot, guys. And I'll come in and out of this. We are going to go to the Picture Perfect Event Center, and we're going to start with the celebration that we did see with Jerry Lawler, Bill Dundee, and we're going to watch this. We'll put you guys over. Hopefully, you'll be on the side, and we will make
These next
this
two
bigger.
guys can probably tell you
This is
right
Shane
a
Russell,
story, a
who is
long
watching here
story about
today.
the feud between Lawler and Dundee. They have a lot in common with me. We're both sons of Memphis legends, Jamie Dundee and Kevin Lawler.
We got one microphone or two? We'll share this. I will hold it for you, Mr. Lawler. Man, you know what? The best thing to me growing up as the son of the superstar Bill Dundee was when he was kicking Jerry Lawler's butt, man. That was my greatest thing. I thought, yeah, you get him, Daddy.
Well, if I was going to say, if that was the greatest thing of your childhood, then you must have had a pretty bad childhood, because we all know that my dad was kicking your dad's ass the majority of the 50 years of that rivalry through the ages.
Wait a minute. Well, wait a week. We're near.
Let's ask the people. Let's ask the people.
Bill Dundee, let me hear it. Let me hear it from Bill Dundee. All right, come on.
And now what about for Jerry the King Lawler?
I think we won by one crazy gale. I think one crazy gale took that right over to the Dundee top man.
Well, one of the things
Scott,
that we want
eventually
to do
the DVD
tonight,
will be available.
is come out here because, it's a little bit different for Jamie and myself, because just like everybody here, we grew up, huge Memphis wrestling fans and fans of Jerry the King Lawler and Bill Dundee.
Yeah.
But to us, those weren't just the guys that we saw on TV like everybody else. Those was our fathers, so we saw these guys, not only as our fathers, but also as our heroes. And that just made, our life, so special, growing up with these guys. And then,
Hey, did your dad ever pull the strap down before he grounded you? I just want to know. He's like, that's it, Kevin. You're going to your damn room.
well, no comment.
I understand. Because, I understand. But, there's something.
Have you seen
I
this,
still,
Brad?
To this day,
I know Brad
just
was there.
women.
Have
I
you
don't
seen
know if
this,
they were
Scott?
working, bro. I watch a Bill Dundee
No,
and
sir.
Jerry Lawler match,
Wonderful.
man. And my dad is really
Keep
kicking your
watching.
dad's ass, bro. I promise. I was watching it. I don't know if them dudes were working. I still don't know. I don't know. Because. to me,
Well, I'll give you a little insight on that.
Okay.
The parts when your dad was kicking my dad's ass, they was working. But the times when my dad was kicking your dad's ass, that was a total shoot, 100%.
It was, and you know what else, Kevin? Your dad shaved my mother's head, man. That's not. I mean, come on, bro. That you know how traumatizing it is at 8 years old when your mother and father both come home bald. Do you know what that's like, bro?
Well,
I mean, really.
I was real young back then too, but from what I understand, that was actually an improvement. That actually made your mother look better.
Okay.
But anyway, all jokes aside, we're here tonight just like everybody else. We want to just, pay homage and respect to two guys that, not only was the greatest rivalries, over the past 50 years, but also the greatest tag team partners, over the past 50 years. And, these are two guys, two men, two icons, two legends that not only just, stood the test of time, but also through a rivalry of the ages. And we're here for these guys tonight, just like everybody else. And when they come out here, we got something that we want to give to them, a special presentation in honor of being, the king and the superstar and having this tremendous rivalry.
Part two of the
Without
thing, and
further
that was
ado,
good.
ladies and gentlemen, The
This is gonna
rivalry
give me
of the
chills.
ages. Let's bring out the king, Jerry Lawler, and the superstar, Bill Dundee.
I'm glad Brandon and Doug were there because it was kind of dark in front of that curtain, and there was a step up on the little platform.
Yeah, that was done on purpose. Scott, do you have chills just seeing them?
Oh yeah, I mean,
The other thing is, I had always read about their feuds in the 80s in the magazine, and they won the AWA tag club. I was like, wow, that's when did they become buddies? I was probably 15 at the time then. And they didn't have them long. I think they won them twice. Actually, they dropped them and won them back, but they didn't have them long. But at the time, the AWA was one of the big three. That was like,
yeah, I would have liked to have seen them go up against some more established
All right.
tag teams. Like the Bad
Gentlemen,
or
welcome.
some of the other guys
It is good to see
around at
both
the
of you
time.
always. Anything you want to say about the rivalry, or do we just keep going?
Well, let me just say, I don't have much to say about the rivalry. I think every time see the tubers, they know all about our rivalry. But I just wanted to say thank you, everybody that has come here tonight. It has been a great honor, and it's been a great night to see you all out there tonight.
Thank you, Billy. Welcome.
Well, thank you, Dave Brown. Thank you, the King, and I've enjoyed kicking your ass for the last 20 years. And if it comes up, we may do it again tonight.
Oh, me. We do have a special presentation for you guys tonight. This is a special piece of artwork which was commissioned, and there it is, one for each of you. It shows the two of you being interviewed by Lance Russell.
Who is that
Referee
guy?
Jerry Calhoun is on there. Great looking piece of art right there. So, gentlemen, congratulations.
beautiful.
Okay, Scott Middleton in Kentucky put this together. Scott's art. All right.
I
Jamie
can't
and
thank you
Kevin?
enough, Randy. It was a true honor, brother. You did me good, man. I really appreciate it.
We're going to pause that. As an artist, you've done a lot of things, and we've plugged your comic book and all that sort of thing. To design that and mail it to me, and we kept it a secret from Lawler and from Dundee, and for us to pull that across. I know you wanted to be in Jackson bad, but you weren't able to
Yeah.
do that. But watching it back, does that make you kind of goosebumps all over?
It's bittersweet because, like you said, I wanted to be there. My mother is in bad health and she's in a nursing home situation. So I'm also a full-time minister at a church that's on a rebuild, and my schedule is just so booked up right now. And but as what I understand, we got something going down in Jonesboro next year. So I'm clearing my schedule. I'm putting in my vacation days now. So just whenever you get the dates and the times and everything ironed out, brother, I plan on being there at that one. But Randy, before I forget, because I tend to ramble, I can't thank you enough. Your passion for what you do, just your consistency, your sincerity, your honesty, your passion. It's inspirational. I'm a Mark. I'm a fan. I've always been a Mark. I've always been a fan, and I'm proud of it. And it's keeping the history of this alive. I got a 10-year-old boy who would rather watch Old Memphis Wrestling, Power Pro Wrestling, than he would AEW or WWE, and that's the God's honest truth.
Good for him.
So there
Good
you
for
go.
him. I'll let a radio broadcaster do this. He was there when we presented those pictures. We'll get to the belts in a minute. As far as Brad, do you have any questions to Scott about the design, about how he came up with that artwork? Do you have any questions for him? I'm putting you
Just
on the spot, so you better come up with one if you don't have one.
just why that? I mean, that particular photo. I mean, it was just. Was it because it was something that captured your eye? Because there were many other. There could have been others. That you could have chosen.
It's exactly right. I mean, I was watching video after video of them two fighting, and I'm going, well, which outfits do I pick? Which feud do I pick? Which battle? So I kind of tried to spread it out. I went with, kind of a early '80s battle that they did. I kind of went with a early 2000s one they did down there with Lawler's in all the black and Dundee's in the black tights. I went to the one where Lawler was bandaged up and Bill just playing the perfect heel, just beating the fire out of him because Lawler had that one eye covered up. And I remember that from watching that when I was a kid, being traumatized, going, he's going to kill him. He's going to kill him. He's going to blind him. Lawler's out there with, half a face, but Dundee's just murdering him. But yeah, so it was really hard to narrow that down. Because there were so many. I mean, they wrestled, 500 times. So I just did the best with, and I just thought centering it with the fact that they were partners as well as rivals, and then that partnership really, to me, tied the rivalry together. Because if the rivalry wasn't so strong, I have a feeling that they probably would have went on and been a long-standing tag team. I don't know that for a fact. Randy probably knows better than that than I do behind the scenes, but I just thought their run as a tag team was way too short as a fan. Like I said, I'd have loved to have seen them to have some feuds with the Road Warriors or, Rock and Roll Express or, some of the more established tag teams of the 80s. I would have loved to have seen the Rock and Roll RPMs. They're in the list. Bad Company. There's so many good tag teams back in the 80s, in that area, and up in the AWA area as well. I just don't know why they never really, how many times did the Road Warriors and the fight each other, and how many times did the Midnight Express and the Rock and Roll Express fight each other? They had those established feuds. I would have loved to have seen Lawler and Dundee get into one of those type of situations, but for whatever reason, they just didn't have them very long. I'm not sure what the reason behind that was.
Shane Odom says, I'd like to see Scott make a t-shirt drawing of all the famous wrestlers from Memphis. Remember the old NBA championship t-shirt with the characters on it. So there's a idea for you there, Scott.
Send me a message, Shane, and we can put it together for you, brother.
All right, Scott's Art, Scott
Randy,
Middleton is here in the house.
Randy,
Before we go back to the video, Brad, do you have anything at this point? Are you ready to go to the video?
No, let's we can go on to the video, man.
And we'll do that throughout the show. If anybody else want to come in here to comment, let me know, and I'll put a link up. And I may do that anyway, but we're going to go ahead and go back to this. This was great as well. I'm going to put this full
once
screen.
again right here.
I want to know one thing. We want to know why Lawler's name is on top. The Dundees want to know why his name is first. Lawler's older than you, so that's why he's first. Hey, listen, Pop. I just want you to know I've been a wrestler for many, many years, and I still, to myself, don't know if you and Lawler were working, man. You two dudes did it so damn good that I still don't know if it was a work or not. You two dudes are really the cream of the crop, brother, no doubt. Man, nobody can do it better than you two together or against each other, man. That ain't
I'll drink to that.
I promise. I promise. the chemistry and the chemistry of our business is defined when you watch Jerry Lawler versus Bill Dundee or Jerry Lawler and Bill Dundee together. It don't get no better, man. I promise you, it don't get no better, King.
Well, thank you, Jimmy.
You're welcome, Pop, and I love you, man. And this right here is for you. And Kevin has one for the King, because y'all will always be our tag team champions, right, bro?
Hey, let me ask you a favor.
Yes, sir.
The next time you see your mother, tell her I didn't do half the shit that said I did.
I have defended you my whole life.
I know that.
And she say to me, son, you're full of bloody shit. That's what she said.
Kevin?
You know, I have to agree with everything that Jamie said. You know, the reason that we wanted to do these belts tonight was just, you know, a symbol, you know, of, you know, just the excellence that you guys were, you know, as rivals and as, you know, probably the greatest, you know, tag team partners in the history of Memphis wrestling. And that's what these belts are here to represent.
I just want to say thank you so much for these belts. They mean so much, especially when I look at my name is on top of Bill's.
Hey, but they said that was just because my dad was going to go over. That's right. I was going to go over in the match, you know. But for real, King, man, there's nobody better than you two do, man.
Thank you, everybody.
Rivalry for the ages. Superstar Bill Dundee, Jerry the King Lawler. Please enjoy this tribute video to these two fantastic wrestlers.
You know, I told you about his old lady, this old hag he keeps home up in Nashville. She told him, she said, Bill Dundee, let me tell you something. Don't you come home if you lose that hair, because I don't want to never see that ugly face with no hair on it. That's his old lady. That's Dundee's old lady right there. Look at that.
I'm going to sit and laugh at you, Lawler. That is the greatest thing. To quote Jimmy Hart, this is the greatest day in my life. Jerry Lawler finally couldn't do it, Daddy. He said he used to win all the big ones. While I'm standing here, Jack, looking like $1 million, and you're having some gutter somewhere.
Let me tell you something, Dundee. You little stinking, rotten, low-life shrimp.
Oh, it's hard to be humble when
Dundee,
you're
you're going to stand here in front of everybody on television. You're going to stand here in front of all of these people and admit that you don't have the guts to give me a rematch. Is that what it is? You don't have the guts? Is that it, Dundee?
It's hard to be humble when you're as great as I am. I can't wait for the morning, Lawler, because I can get up and look in the mirror. I get better looking every day.
Let me tell you something. I know the mistake I'm making, Lance. You see, Dundee's real happy right now. As far as he's concerned, he's sitting on the top of the world. When you're real happy, you don't want to give anybody matches. The only way you want to give somebody a match is just like I did a while ago. You got to be a little mad. Well, right now, Dundee, you're glad. But you just wait a few minutes, punk, because I'll make you mad enough to sign this match.
Just bring me your crown, boy. Just bring me your crown.
You made your bed. Now you're going to have to lie in it. Nobody cares about
This was from 1983, June, to set up the greatest wrestling match I've ever seen, the first Lawler Dundee Major League Town match.
On my head, this belt will be around my waist, and I'm going to strut around this Memphis.
Let me tell you what you better do with it.
Is that the one where Dundee was wearing the orange stripes?
Where what now?
Was Dundee wearing the orange stripes in that one? Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. June 6, 1983.
So good. I had to put that on the poster.
They played stuff in, I mean, for sure. That's why Jamie said, I didn't know if you were shooting or you working. because the people couldn't tell.
Both of their eyes closed.
You see Coco and Dick Gilbert, Shane Russell, Kevin Waller, Jamie Dundee. Great shot. Brandon Baxter was there. Tommy Rich was there. As they're watching the video, I like just looking at the candid shots of how intently Lawler and Dundee, how proud looking. Just a fantastic.
Wow, I tell you what, was that unbelievable? What a feud. I got to say something to Kevin and Jamie real quick. I think actually my dad may have been the smartest one because he just held a mic out there and stayed out of the ring. So,
Sure enough. Do we look like them, don't we? We look like them 25.
hey, I tell you what, if you folks haven't seen the back of these jackets, could you guys
We
turn
did a
around
good job
just
on
real
the jackets.
quick and
Kevin
show the
had
back
these
of these
great
jackets. These are unbelievable. Look at this. The
Did Matt Dollar
superstar
do those?
and the king.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think Matt or Kevin had them made, right?
Yes.
Gentlemen,
Okay.
thank you. On behalf of all
Such
these
good
fans,
ideas, Randy.
thank you
Belts,
for that
jackets,
fabulous
posters,
action.
just what?
That kind
So
of action
smart,
right
man.
there
So good.
is why Memphis wrestling was so good. Jerry the King Lawler, Bill Superstar Dundee.
Let's get a big round of
Brilliant
applause.
idea.
Come on.
Brilliant.
That's something special to see right there. I'm telling you. I can watch that over.
Yeah, man. This is such a great.
You know what I really
They'll get their props.
Look at that shot, and thanks to Matt Dollar. Hello, Mr. Hood. How you doing watching? Look at the great crowd. Look at that wonderful
Awesome.
setup up there at the Picture Perfect Event Center. Of course, Brad was there to see it live. So watching it for the first time, again, did you get goosebumps? And are you regretting not being there Saturday night? Because
Oh,
I'm still not over it.
yeah. I'm like I said, I'm heartbroken about it. I'm bittersweet. I mean, like I said, I'm so glad to have a small part in it, and it was an honor to do it. And I'm so glad that they loved it. But kudos to whoever came up with the jacket idea and
That was
the
Kevin.
belts and the artwork. I mean, you talk about making sure that Dundee and Lawler knew beyond a shadow of a doubt what they did was appreciated. And I think that there's no second guessing that after that night and all those accolades that were presented to them. Yeah, I think they deserved it, well deserved, and great planning. Yeah, I'm just glad to have been a small part of it.
Now, Brad, what do you think? You were there live. You saw it. I don't know exactly where you were during the event because I was busy a little bit that day. So
Yes, sure.
I did not know where you're going. But seeing it back, does it just come back? Just explain as we've seen that again.
Oh, absolutely. And one of the things that I really enjoyed seeing was, their peers came out and watched along with them. You know, we saw Tommy and Coco. Bruno came out there. Brandon Baxter was there. I mean, they all just stood there and watched the memories, and that was very respectful. And I know that the King and the Superstar appreciated that. That was I was kind of, I was watching the screen, but I was watching their faces. You know, I got a lot of pictures from the back, and I was trying to get shots of the boys and their reactions on everything. So
Yeah.
That's something very special for me to see. It just the whole event, it was just like a little family reunion, and I never had been a part of that. I was kind of an outsider because I grew up in North Carolina, and a lot of people, I talked to everybody. They're like, how do you know about Memphis wrestling? So I went into my history with it, and everything, and how it's come to today. And over the last year, so watching this show with Randy has really, gotten me more educated with it, and it's something that I really wish that I always could have watched as it happened growing up. But it's good to be able to know and find out and learn about it, over time.
Very good. David Scott says, will there be another Hall of Fame? We mentioned it earlier in FanFest next year. We're planning it to be in September of 2025, and we're hoping it will be right here in my hometown, Jonesboro, Arkansas, which will be a further drive for both of you guys because it's 150 miles from Jackson, but in my hometown, and we're going to I'm going to be a little biased toward my hometown, and we're going, of course, we're going to have to change it up, a new set of Hall of Famers, and we're going to do something. I have something special. I think we need to do something for Lawler and Dundee. It'll have to be a different type of thing. We'll do that as well. So it'll be very good. Now, on the videos we have several of the acceptance speeches. Also, earlier in the night, we had Michael St. John go throughout the building in the Fan Fest getting interviews. So I don't know what. Oh, I don't know. Do what?
That was good. That was great to see. It was great to see Michael holding that microphone again, interviewing wrestlers. Man, it took me back. I'd love to see more of that. That was fantastic.
I don't know what's on this tape next, but we're going to check it out right now.
Okay.
There's only one. There'll never be another. JC Ice.
Yes, sir. But now we're back to Jamie Dundee. JC Ice, that dude was crazy, Michael. And you did the first interview with me when I was 20 years old, and I think I quote you said this: "The son of the superstar to turn out like this."
Listen, there has never been someone. This man has become one of the true ambassadors of wrestling. Wrestling the way it was meant to be. Because Jamie, we all learned. You grew up a block from where I live.
Yeah,
Your son, my son, and you played together at my house.
Very much so.
And he's a football coach. You are a legendary wrestler. But I am so happy to see you. I can't tell you how great you look.
Man, Michael, you too, my friend. I just knew right off the bat. I'm like, he didn't age at all. He dyed that hair just so we thought he got a little older, man. Because it was 19 years old when we did an interview. I am.
He did this from the hip, man. It's so great. So natural.
God bless you. I'll be 73 in about a month.
I don't know what it is about y'all generation. My dad, handsome, you, Lawler. I don't know what's in the water, but y'all need to pass it down, bro. Because it's
now Michael's good.
You got the great genes, my friend. And you were a tremendous competitor in the wrestling ring.
Yes, sir.
So many times. I couldn't imagine you taking the bumps, you were one of the greatest comeback kids in the history of the business.
Yeah, it was because nobody told me that I was too little. I'm Bill's boy. That's what I'm Bill's boy. No way we too little. We're Dundee's, man. And you back that dog in the corner, he gonna bite you, Michael. Sure enough, man.
Now you just signed on with the Wrestling Network or Wrestling Network?
Yeah.
I don't know about
WLN,
this.
the Wrestling Legends Network. They're gonna make a Jamie Dundee channel. You get to go on there and just click, and you'll watch all of my career from when you did the first interview with me when I was 19, all the way up
just
till
30 minutes from
this
you.
interview
We'll
right
see
now,
you
Rick.
next September.
Let me tell you, I'm never ever so pleased to see you in great health, to see you in great shape,
Yes,
and
sir.
to hear you. And you're the man, Jamie.
Well, thank you,
God
Michael.
bless you.
I appreciate it,
God
bro.
bless you.
And I think so because it's 15 years of sobriety, and man, his life is beautiful, man. I get to wake up every day and say, man, life is good for once,
Hey, he's my friend. I don't want to call him
That's
a
awesome.
protege of a legend, but he's a legend
Yeah, very
himself.
good.
Thank you, sir. I really appreciate that.
My friend Jamie Dundee.
Thank you.
Hey, Rain.
We'll just go ahead and keep it running. Oh, do you want to say something?
Yeah.
Okay. Who wanted to say something?
About that legend. I do a lot of artwork for them. I do logos and stuff. I'm actually doing Amy's logo. I'm actually
that's
doing
cool.
the commission for it. So yeah, so it's I'm excited about that. I think there's going to be a Dundee channel, like a Bill Dundee thing too. But that Legends of Wrestling, they're keeping the old wrestling alive too. They're keeping the territorial days and stuff together as well with the stuff that they're putting out there. And I do a lot of work with those guys, and so I'm excited. I was honored that I get to do Jamie's because Jamie and me struck up a friendship in Evansville at that show up there, and he's quite a character, man. He is a showman. I mean, he was on the entire time. Jamie Dundee is worth the price of admission alone. Just the energy and the entertainment value that he brings forth. He was born to be an entertainer. I'll say that.
David Scott says, "Do you think you can get Phil Hickerson, who is ill? He's in bad health, and he lives in Jackson, Tennessee, and we weren't able to reach him. Frank Morrell as well. Nobody's heard from Frank in about 10 years. He's like missing in action. I love Frank. I've traveled a million miles with Frank Morrell. Would love to have him, and we have somebody watching from Knoxville, Tennessee, and we are remembering the night to remembering. So far, how does the video play up, Brad, compared to being there live?
It's I can see, I was at an angle a lot of different times, so I got to see, what Adam shot, and it was cool to see it from that angle. But most of the time I was over to the side, and then got into where I could stand up and move around. But yeah, the video quality is excellent for that.
Very excellent.
Yeah.
We'll see who's next. Oh, it's me. Hello, everybody.
Yeah, look at that guy.
Are you having a good time? I just changed my mind what I wanted to start off with. The first idea in April, when I got the idea to come to Jackson, Tennessee, me and Terry, we decided to do it. The very first idea, Russell and Brown together again. This event wouldn't have been what this event is without Dave Brown and Shane Russell, and I thank you guys very much. As a kid, from the time I was 10 years old, I got hooked on this business, and I was able to live my dream, and I see these people out here that were my heroes. Every one of them, from Mo to Danny to Tony, especially, I'm going to skip you, but to the superstar Bill Dundee, used to sell his pictures. I love Tom Pritchard. He's great. I love Downtown Bruno. I was scared of the dirty white boy. But this has been fantastic. It is my job to induct a guy, and the first word that comes to my mind right now is this man is a survivor. This man at 25 years old, you might not know this, Danny, this man at 25 years old in the Bronx, New York, Mo, he was shot. He almost died. He died and they got him back to life. But what did he do? Everybody say with me. He survived. He survived. And then he started working out and getting big. Impressive strength, impressive look. And to tell you the truth, somebody told him he used to be a wrestler. 1 million bodybuilders wanted to be in this business, and Danny Davis, the greatest trainer ever, and Tom Pritchard, a great trainer too. How many bodybuilders have you seen that were here for a cup of coffee? Tell me. Oh, plenty. Absolutely. But what did Spellbinder do? He survived. He survived, right, people? What did he do? He survived. You're damn right. Then, several years ago, retired from wrestling. He had a heart attack, and he almost died. But he's here today, so what did he do? He survived. It is my honor, the person I talk to, any wrestler I talk to the Spellbinder more than anybody. I am proud. It's an honor. Want to bring him out here and induct him into the Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame. My friend, Harry Del Rios, the Spellbinder.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Randy. Randy, that was some speech. The boys in the back wanted to start a GoFundMe page. Just give me a second. I wrote a couple of things down of people that I have to thank, because this started about 25 years ago. A lot of people know this, a lot of people don't, but I was a professional magician right before I started bodybuilding and getting into fitness. So I have to thank Mr. Jeff McBride, a master magician and master of magic and teacher. I also have to thank Vito LaGrasso. You guys know him as Big Vito for WWE and WCW. He was the guy that taught me a lot of things. He's the guy who prepped me for my first wrestling match ever, which, by the way, my first wrestling match was a tryout with WWE and Monday Night Raw. Also, I have to thank Jerry Lawler and rest in peace Brian Christopher, my best friend, who I miss very dearly, and I hope he's resting in peace. I'll tell you what, guys, wrestling has been like another life to me. And going up and down the road, whether we were driving or flying, it was like a family. I rode up and down with guys like Danny Davis, Tom Pritchard, Bruno, and I love all you guys. Hey, listen, just want you guys to know, Doug and all the rest of you guys, when I tell you I love you right before I hang up, I mean from the bottom of my heart, I love you. And I really appreciate you guys being a part of me and being a part of my family. I want to thank my friends for coming out, my pastor, Terry Hunt, and his wife. I want to thank my wife, Marcia. I love you, hon. I thank my friend Dave, the cop, and his son, Elvis, for coming. Very supportive, helped me. And I want to thank each and every one of you that tuned into Channel 5 Wrestling, that came to the Mid-South Coliseum or any one of the towns that we were at. I want to tell you I appreciate every single one of you, and I love every single one of you. Thank you, and have a good night.
That's awesome. Very cool.
All right.
Very good guy.
Yeah,
Great speech.
I love me some Spellbinder. You know
Yeah.
what? As far as my speech is concerned, it took me a minute because I didn't want to go long, and I was thinking about it for a month. And when he asked me to do it, nothing came to me. But on his birthday, me, Jerry Lawler, his wife, Kevin White, and some other people met for a surprise birthday party, and we were talking about the shoot and talking about different things. And I got the concept for the survivor promo, the basics of it. But then I just had that idea. I'm going to try to get that over, and I think I did. The people, we couldn't hear the audio with the people, but Brad, you remember they were chatting Survivor back with me, right?
Yes, they were. I mean, you had them going. I mean, they knew it. And this is an incredible story that what he's gone through and how hard he worked to get to what he wanted to do. And it's admirable, very admirable.
Mm-hmm.
So you, big fan, and you like the Spellbinder too, don't you, Scott?
Huge fan. You know, him and Brian had a little bit of that, a little rivalry there in USWA. I think not long before it folded. But I tell you, man, the way he moved to be as big as he was a big guy, and you know, he was solid. And man, big guys just don't move as quick and as good as he did. He was very agile. He got better on the mic as his career went on. But I mean, I love the whole gimmick. I love the face paint. I love the magic. It's unique. It's original. I'm like I said, I'm a fan. I mean, I'm looking for things that are different. There's so many guys that copy everybody, but he just stood out to me, and I just thought he was criminally underrated as a professional wrestler. I just thought he was fantastic in the ring. He had persona, charisma, creativity. So I'm a huge fan of Spellbinder. I loved him. I really did.
Brandon Wheeler from right here, Jonesboro, Arkansas. His business is about 1.5 miles from my house. He purchased a Living the Dream Randy Hales book the other day, and I dropped by. I'm sorry, Brandon, you weren't there. I appreciate it, and I hope you enjoy the book. Thank you, Thomas. I always enjoy you being on the show. And Knoxville, Tennessee. We appreciate that. We appreciate David. We appreciate Donald and everybody watching the show. I'm Randy Hales. He is Scott. He is Brad. And we're here with the Randy Hales Show. And we're going to go back. I have no idea what's next. Let's see what's next. It may be a Michael St. John interview. Who knows? It may be an induction. Who knows? But we're going to watch. Right now, by the way, Brandon says, I really appreciate it, Randy. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Wish you would have been there. And we go back to the Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame, and Pat Rose is in the house.
Michael St. John, I am with the Living
Michael,
Lantern. Manager
this is
Danny
good
Davis,
too.
General Danny Davis, a man that not only was a great worker in the ring, but a man that has given so much back to the world of professional wrestling. Danny, it's great to see you.
Hey, it's very good to see you, my friend. Very good to see you. And I'm going to correct you. I wasn't a general. I was sergeant.
Sergeant
Danny Davis.
I was working
for the
Blonde Bombers.
And the
Blonde Bombers.
Yeah.
And I was working for Nick Goulas.
Yeah.
When you were doing that.
That is correct.
That is amazing. We go way back.
Way back.
Now, Danny, I know you're living in Florida now.
Yep.
You had such a great run at Ohio Valley Wrestling up in Louisville with our good friend Jimmy Cornette.
Yep.
I mean, this business.
Danny looking good.
People still have the passion.
Yeah.
People do still have the passion, you know. I don't know if it's as genuine as it was, you know, back in the day, but it's still, they do have the passion. And, you know, I think it's a great thing. I mean, we're more mainstream nowadays than we were back in our younger days.
Oh, yeah.
But you know, hey, it's good. It's good.
Well, and you've done so much, of course, training wrestlers, but also your knowledge of professional wrestling. You know, back when you were part of the Nightmares, teams were smaller, but boy, could they go.
They could. You know, being a manager and, you know, tag team wrestling and being a single, tag team wrestling was my favorite. You know, and I mean, and you know, we were small guys, but the Nightmares were a team that when we faced an opponent, they knew they were in for a tough night. They knew it wasn't going to be a cakewalk. And you know, for small guys, we held our own. We held our own.
I have to ask you a question as somebody that has developed talent, has run the schools to bring new wrestlers into the business.
Yep.
Why is it today so many wrestlers, back in the day, you guys would call it in the ring, hardly ever you would see a legit, you know, an injury.
Oh, exactly.
I called a match when Don Kent broke his shoulder in Birmingham. You know, there was some things that happened. But today, it's like the injured list. You get an injured list on Monday for professional wrestling.
Yeah, it's crazy. You know, back in the day, we did, you know, we did just do things on the fly. But we kept everything pretty much in the ring, you know, unless we were in a situation where it called for, you know, outside the ring, but we wouldn't push the envelope like they do today because that wasn't our time. It was not our time.
Let's interrupt this, and this is what people don't understand. The effect that entertainment, baseball players, football players, basketball players, and professional wrestling can mean to people. Jeff says, I gave Danny Davis a copy of his visit to my first special ed class in White Bluff. He was touched. I totally respected him taking the time, along with Eddie Marlin, visiting my handicapped students. Speak of that.
But yeah.
That's
You want me to
nice,
go?
guys, right? Yes. Somebody go.
Well, being somebody who's worked with Special Olympics myself, that just touches my heart. I think that's fantastic. Um, you know, doesn't surprise me. I met Danny Davis, back in the late 90s, early 2000s. I did some training up there at his school. He had an MMA school too. There was a martial arts school. I think they did karate. He had a gym. So you could do a lot of different things. It wasn't just professional wrestling. I think he was the owner of it, if I'm not mistaken. I remember seeing him up there, and you could just tell he was just a super energetic, nice, cordial, very respectful gentleman. I have nothing good things but to say about my experience up there. His place was immaculate. I actually trained with Dan the Beast Severn. He had a seminar up there, and that was the first time I went up there, and it was at Danny Davis's school of professional wrestling. And Dan Severn he was crossing over to pro wrestling at that time, but he was still doing cage fighting stuff. So he was up there showing. I was learning mixed martial. I was learning the cage fighting stuff. Be a cage fighter, then a lot less injuries, a lot less concussions. So yeah, I have nothing. That doesn't surprise me at all. What Jeff's sharing here, that just seems like the type of guy that Danny Davis was. Class act all the way around. Of course, being in Louisville, huge Ohio Valley wrestling fan, and we would go and we'd watch Ohio Valley, and I went last summer and watched Ohio Valley. So still, I know he doesn't have anything to do with it anymore. He's not involved with it. Like you said, he's retired. I think he's down in Florida. So, but yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. Class act all the way around. Danny Davis, nothing but good things to say about him.
I want to explain to everybody, I'm sure they know, Scott's audio's been great this entire this program. His video, he gets frozen up. So he is moving. He's just not sitting there still the whole time. He is moving, and we're going back to the finish of this Danny Davis interview, and we'll see what Brad thinks about the interview and the nice gesture that Jeff said Danny did years ago. Here, that interview continues and concludes.
Because we knew our boundaries, and then we didn't want to go beyond that, because if you go beyond a certain boundary, then you're into a different territory of what the business is, of what it is. And when you do that, not only do you put your body at risk, you put your opponent's body at risk as well. So back in the day, we chose not to perform that way. We kept everything as much as we could tight and close in the ring, and we did what we had to do in a safe fashion so that we didn't actually harm or hurt anyone.
And wrestlers, when they were in the ring, they took note, and when the fans left the building, they left with a passion, and they knew it was real.
Exactly. Well, here's the thing. There's a saying in this business amongst the guys and the gals is that less is more. And all it takes is someone to do what he's supposed to do. Listen right here. Listen to a veteran telling you what to do and how to do it. If you listen to him and you execute what he's telling you, you will be a much better performer.
Fantastic words from Sergeant Danny Davis. God love you, brother.
Thank
good
you,
seeing you.
Michael. Good seeing you.
Great interview. Brad, did you get a chance to meet Danny?
Yeah, briefly. It was right after that interview. I was standing there watching that and snapped some still shots while Michael was talking with him. And what he said there at the end is just, I mean, that sums it all up. I didn't grow up watching him wrestle with the Nightmares. I did follow along, with him. I knew who he was, and I knew that he became a trainer later on, as part of his career in wrestling. And no, I've never heard anybody say a bad thing about Danny. He seems to be one of the best teachers that have ever come along for this business. Guys like him and Tom Pritchard and Rip Rogers. Those are the like names that you hear when you're talking about some of the people that really know how to train and get through to the younger generation coming up. And I'm glad that he is retired. I'm good to see that he's enjoying his life now out there down in Florida. And he was a good guy to talk to.
That's very good. A little later, I'll ask you if there was any pricks that you met that night, but we're going to go back to the Hall of Fame ceremony.
My goodness, it's a night for heroes, isn't it?
Pat Trammell.
As I was saying, it has been my honor to
Pat
be
does good.
co-host of Talking Memphis Wrestling on Tuesday
I'll be
nights
right back.
along with Randy Hales.
Pat always brings a lot to the
And our
show,
next
Randy.
inductee.
He's always got hot takes.
I first heard our next inductee in 1974 on
Yes, he does.
106 radio when FM radio came to Birmingham. Since that time, he has had a most distinguished career in radio. He is a member of the Alabama Radio Hall of Fame. He has been a program director from coast to coast. As a wrestling commentator, the first promo introducing Hulk Hogan, he did. Terry Bollea became an icon because of Michael St. John. James Harris became Kamala in the back of Jerry Jarrett's yard through the artistry and magic of Michael St. John. He is accomplished in many, many things. He is a businessman. He owns multiple radio properties in Alabama and Tennessee. He's a husband. He's a father. Most importantly these days, he is
Pat's doing a great job.
To Joshua.
Scott.
And it is my great honor to
Yes,
present
sir. Yeah, I always enjoy when he's on the
induction
show.
of the
He
Memphis
brings a
Wrestling
lot
Hall
to
of
it.
Fame to Michael St. John.
I can't tell you how humbled and honored I am to stand before you today. I had the experience and the great luck and fortune and the grace of God.
No, Pat was
to work
not nervous.
with
He's
some of the
introduced
most
ex-presidents. He wasn't
phenomenal
nervous at all,
people
PJ. Not
in
at
the
all.
professional wrestling business ever. And I love and appreciate each and every one of them. But more so, I appreciate each and every one of you who love the sport we live. That being said, to my dear friend Dave Brown, to the late great Lance Russell, to Randy West, who was a phenomenal videographer, for all the wrestlers I have worked with, for the late great Lance Russell, Shane, your dear father, they were all wonderful to me. I had the opportunity to sit in those chairs and work with those gentlemen who are way behind and are way above what I could ever accomplish in professional wrestling. To my wife, Melanie, my daughter, Brittany, to my daughter-in-law, Katie, and my grandson, Joshua, thank you for being part of my life for the last 27 years. And to this wonderful group of people, and for everyone that may catch us on a videotape or on YouTube or whatever source you might have, and to the wonderful wrestlers that sit before me today, I love you and I thank you.
Did a great job, Pat Trammell and Pat in the induction, and certainly Michael St. John in the Hall of Fame. What did you think of that, Scott? I don't know if you watched the show Tuesday, did you?
No, sir. Did not. No surprise at all. I mean, I knew Pat would hit it out of the park. Michael, that's like a duck in water, brother. I mean, that's what Michael does. I mean, he talks for a living and he broadcasts for a living. And, I'm surprised that his speech wasn't a little longer, but I think that just shows you how good he got it all in there in a short period of time. And, fantastic, but Pat always adds a lot to the show. He's got good comments and he's got a lot of hot takes, and you got a good crew, Randy, the support, that you bring in. And, like I said, man, Michael St. John's just the ultimate professional, and so glad in the Hall of Fame. Very well deserved. Very well deserved.
What did you think, Brad?
Well deserving. Michael, I got to talk to him before the ceremony, and he and his family, all of them, he introduced me to them. Very nice. We just missed Jazz the cat. That was the only one that couldn't make the trip, but they were very nice. And Michael was. I didn't have a lot of time to talk with him. I would have loved to talk radio. He. And I would have a lot in common as far as programming small markets and that mentality. It would have been great to have some time, but it could have gone on so long. But he was a pleasure to meet with, and a good inductee in there. Michael did such a great job. I first saw him. He was, doing the Sportatorium shows in '91 on ESPN. And then, when was doing the Memphis, and doing that in the '90s. So, it was a pleasure to meet him. Really was.
That's cool. Now I want to go to the screen, and Crazy Gail Brooks, my good friend, is in the house in Memphis, Tennessee. And if you remember earlier in the evening when Jamie Dundee and Kevin Lawler say, "Here's a Lawler," and they screamed, and then Jamie said, "And Bill Dundee," and they screamed, and Jamie said, "And the winner, thanks to one Crazy Gail, it's Bill Dundee." Crazy Gail watching the show, absolutely the biggest Bill Dundee fan in the history of the world. We'll see what's next now. Going back to this past Saturday. And as good as I did, as good as a lot of people did, as good as Pat Dremel did, the induction of the night,
has this not been a
without a
wonderful
doubt,
night to remember
is
or
Bo
not?
James, our friend watching today. Listen to Bo.
There's been more love in this building today than has been in some churches, because we've got family here today. And sometimes some of us wrestlers have to get away from each other for a little while to realize how much we respect each other and how much we love each other and how much we mean to each other. And the person that I'm asked to inducted here tonight, I've never had to be away from to know that. I met him when I was just 15 years old and as a teenage kid, and in my early 20s trying to learn this crazy world of wrestling. I was traveling with him, and I learned all kinds of great advice and great little nuggets of not just the wrestling business, but life itself. And I'm talking about the boy that was born in Tullahoma, Tennessee, raised in Hammond, Indiana, and broke in professional wrestling in Chicago, but became known as the boy from New York City around the world. 35 years, this man's been a part of my life and a part of my family. If you've ever been to his museum in Shawsville, Virginia, myself and my nephews and my wife and my father and mother are hanging all throughout his museum. He hangs in our homes. We love him.
all the years, all the wrestlers and everybody that he's known, I'm the only person that from the wrestling business that's tattooed on his arm. And I'm right there with his kids. I consider him to be my wrestling dad. And you know, he came to Memphis, rolled in on TWA, and was supposed to be here one day, and that was it. He came for a tournament. And when he walked in the back of the Coliseum and Jerry Jarrett saw him, he saw money. He saw Lawler's next opponent. He saw something magical about this person, and they told me to make it quick tonight, and I said, hey, I'm talking about handsome. He sells excitement, not time. But here we are, almost 50 years later, and he's still headlining inside the Memphis territory. Here we are almost 50 years later, and they're talking about him for generation to generation of a wrestler and a fan. Everybody has a Handsome Jimmy story. Whether you bought a picture, or whether you rode with him in a car, when you speak to Handsome Jimmy, you're the most important person at that moment in the world to him because he loves you. You have given him a great life, and I hope I'm not stealing part of his speech here, but I have witnessed people come from all around the world to come to his museum at his home in a small mountain town in Virginia. I have witnessed grown men and women stand there and cry tears as they talk to him about how great he is. And I have seen him hug them and kiss them and tell them, I love you. And he truly, truly means it. And I speak for my generation of wrestling fan, and I speak for my generation of wrestler. We love Handsome Jimmy. More importantly, I believe I can talk for the generations that came before me that say, we love Handsome Jimmy. He's a son of a gypsy. He's a wonderful human being. He's my wrestling pops. And he's right here, right now, taking a long overdue step into the Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame. The boy from New York City, the son of a gypsy, Handsome Jimmy Valiant.
Now let's come out of there, because you know you have something good wrestling-wise when you can hit those hearts, when you can hit at the heartstrings. Bo James did that, because everything, I didn't write anybody's speech. I didn't write to Handsome Jimmy. Bo James did a fantastic job setting the table for Handsome Jimmy. Now, I told this story on Talking Memphis Wrestling. A wrestler came up to me, I was sitting, listening to the other speeches, and a wrestler sat beside me, and I won't mention his name. He sat beside me and said, boss, have you talked to Handsome? I said, I've been with him for 3 days. Yes, I've talked to Handsome. I said, he came on a flight with me. I picked him up at the airport. He said, I think you made a mistake. I said, what mistake did I make? He said, he's in the dressing room, quiet, not talking to anybody. He said, I think he's asleep. He said, I think he's the wrong person to close the show. He said, I think you made a mistake. Kept saying that. I think you made a mistake. And I said, Tommy, I said, when that red light hits, I said, there won't be any worries. This is how you do it, people. Eighty plus years old. We gotta wait. Here comes the hot spot. Whoa! Brad, did you get any sugar from Handsome?
No, I did not.
I didn't either.
Maybe I got a feeling next time I see him down the road, he might.
Now here we go. He milks it.
Woo, mercy. Handsome Jimbo from Memphis, feel good tonight, baby. You know, first of all, Bobo, God bless you, brother. I love this kid. I love his family. He was just a teenager. You're right, son. And I'll tell you, I'm very proud of your organization, Southern States Wrestling. You know, I want to first thank Randy Hale and Terry Golden for putting all this all together. Put your hands together, y'all. Yes, 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 baby. You know, I'll tell you something. They worked so hard, and I came in a couple of days ago, me and Tommy, and we going back in the morning, ain't we, baby? Yeah, man, that's my brother. And
Yep,
you
hours.
know, Randy, he says, Handsome, I haven't slept in about 48 hours, man. Yeah, I'm so excited. I got all this work to do, me and Terry. And I says, Randy, it's all right, brother, man. Me and Tommy, we ain't slept. Last time I had a good night's sleep was 1954. And Tommy, I don't even know if he ever slept, Jack. You know, but hey, that's just part of our business, you know. Y'all, I started wrestling 1964. And this is 2024. And someone told me, he says, Hansel, you've been wrestling 60 years, man. I says, well, I went there. I got an 8th grade education, you know. I could figure that out, but I didn't know until he told me. I said, well, man, you know what? I'm just launching my career. I'm just getting started, Jack. You know, I got things to do. And it's all about this great business of ours, man. You know, I tell you, it's something so special to the Boogie Woogie, man. Hey, I raised a dozen kids and a dozen old ladies, man, on this business, you know. And, you know, hey, I wish I should have saved some of that. My daddy said, you know, son, it's not what you make, it's what you save. Well, I wish I would have listened to him because I'm still out here working because I got to eat. Yeah, I'm out here working every week there. But the thing is, man, people, I tell you, everybody says, of course, this is what it's all about. This is what family is, see? Not only with my boys in the back, but you all. Man, you all are the greatest wrestling fans in the world right here in Memphis, baby. Yes, I've been around the world 5 times, y'all. And they asked me, where they at, baby? We've been wrestling Madison Square Garden. You wrestled in the Cow Palace, coast to coast, like butter toast. And I said, where is this? The best wrestling fans. I said, it's in the South, Jack. It's here, Mississippi. Hey, it's Arkansas, man, Missouri. Hey, right here in Memphis, Tennessee, baby. And I'm so glad, so proud. And you know, it is funny. Hey, Bobo said I was born in Tullahoma, Tennessee. I'm a Tennessee boy. You know, all my family's there. But when I came in, that first interview I sent in, I told her, I was talking about, hey, all you hillbillies out there in Tennessee, man, one horse town, and I'm going I just coming in for one night, one shot. It was a round robin, and this is gospel. And I said, you know, hey, you food stamp, you know, no tobacco spitting old ladies, man, and you know, wick raising kids, man. I really knocked all that, and man, I'm from Tennessee. You know, but God bless all my people. They're still there. And I'm so proud of this. I got to tell you something. I've been in just about every, you know, everybody got a bucket list. And I have a bucket list. And I want to tell you the last thing on my bucket list in a minute. But before all this happened, you know, inducted in WWE Hall of Fame, the NWA, AWA, the XYZ, FBI, IRS. Man, I've been in all these Hall of Fames, but I never was in this one right here. And this is my bucket list, baby. And this right here is what I came for, what I live for. I love this, I love Memphis, and I love you all. And the last thing I want to say is, people, I got a wrestling camp that I've had 32 years, and in Charlottesville, Virginia. I got a Hall of Fame museum. I got plaques in every building on our compound, every building. But you know where this plaque is going? This plaque is not just going in my house. You're right, brother. You're right, baby. I'm taking this plaque. This is the most important Hall of Fame plaque, or whatever you want to say, because Memphis wrestling with Jerry the King Lawler and Dundee, and oh man, oh, you name it, Tommy, man, oh, I mean, everybody here, oh, everybody, man, I could just name them all, just love you all, and this is going in my home. My home. I'm going to look at it every day until I go up in the sky with the Lord in that big ring in the sky. God bless you all. God bless. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, God bless. God bless. God bless. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, baby.
There he is, handsome Jimmy Valiant. And there are your 10 new inductees into the Memphis
My
Wrestling
instruction
Hall of
was
Fame. Thank you for being
Mr.
here tonight,
Handsome,
Shane
leave
Russell.
hot, the music to play. Dave, you
Great
do a
working with
quick close and goodbye. And Handsome, you go out.
Good
Boogie
night,
Woogie out into the audience. We'll have BC Collins, Brad with the getaway card. Out there, he'll be out looking for you. And find Brad and Boogie
Michael
Woogie
St.
on
John
out
back
to his
with you, the
car and
night
head
of
to the
legends, a
hotel.
night to remember here
And
in Jackson,
that's
Tennessee.
exactly
King Carl
what he
Berkey
did.
was on the show
And
with us a week or so ago.
this
Great to
is
see you. Looking
Michael
great,
talking
Thank you, Michael.
to
Thank you. But you need
Carl
to
Fergie.
mention the real
But I
king.
think we'll come out right now. We'll watch Carl in a minute. So you saw it, Brad, and then you saw him boogie woogie out to your car. Did he have that plaque in his hand when he got in your car?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And he had it under one arm, and he had his bag with him in his other. You know, he wouldn't go anywhere with that bag.
No.
And there were a couple fans out in there who were just, handsome Jimmy, we love you, whatever. And he was like, God bless, God bless. But all he was saying, like, which car is yours? Which car? So I got lucky when I first got there, you know, there was a wedding going on there, and I had to park around the back of the building on a grassy area. And then when I was walking to get into the front of the building, that wedding looked like it was just ending, and some spots started to free up, and there were a couple right up there at the front. So I went back to my car and pulled up there, and I was like, man, and I got lucky here. I said, Hansel's going to appreciate this. And yeah, we just got, I mean, he was back 5 minutes, Randy, after he walked out the door, man. I had him back in there 5 minutes.
How high was he high as far as excited, not literally high, not that at all.
Oh, it was great. He was just talkative the whole time. I mean, it was just, we actually sat in the car, and he was telling me about, he actually started talking about a match. It was the Starrcade 85 match with Ronna Garvin as Miss Atlanta Live in the Midnight Express. He started telling me about that match, about Bob Eaton. That's what it was, Randy. He something about that, something triggered Bobby Eaton to him to bring up that conversation. And he was like, man, I love him, man. Bobby was my brother, man. You know, I've never heard anybody say a bad word about Bobby Eaton.
No, you never will either.
Yeah, and that's incredible in the wrestling business. But man, he was just sitting there so talkative, and he was really appreciative of what what I did for him. And I sent him an email with some pictures that I took, and he responded back and was very appreciative. He talked to Angel. He told Angel about me, and he's like, he's my brother now, and he don't live that far from here and all. So, yeah, we bonded pretty good. And I hope that I see him in Charlotte next year for the gathering, as he should be there because their theme is the Great American Bash from '85, which he was a part of. So I'm hoping to run into him there, if not beforehand.
What did you think about the boogeyman, handsome Jimmy Valiant there, Scott?
Man, cold chill. I mean, you got a little sentimental, and you just felt everything he was saying was sincere. He spoke from the heart, and the charisma has never left. I mean, he's just always been charismatic. He never was the most technical, mat savvy wrestler, but I mean, he got the biggest pops. I mean, he got his whole career. I mean, I don't even want to guess how old he was in Memphis in the '90s. I mean, he was getting up there in years, and I can remember him bringing him in, and he had trimmed down and lost weight. But to me, I thought he didn't look as big and intimidating, but I can remember, I was like, this guy moves like a cat. I mean, he was sliding in under the rope, hopping around, and I mean, he moved like a 25-year-old. So I don't know I think he went vegan for a while, and I don't know if that helped prolong his career or whatever, but I know he was, up there in years, and just he's always been so impressive to me from a charisma standpoint, a microphone standpoint, and he is what wrestling is missing. Spontaneous, off the top of your head, off the cuff, charisma. Everything is so scripted and so just clean and crisp. There's no spontaneity anymore. You never knew what Handsome was going to do. It was just pure energy, pure charisma, and that gave me goosebumps, man. There at the end, that just so real, sentimental, honest, sincere. The guy's just he's definitely on my Mount Rushmore of Memphis wrestlers. He's definitely up there.
Absolutely. Bo James, King of Kingsport, says, Brad, you have to go to Handsome's camp in Shawsville, Virginia. So you need to work that in. Every Sunday, man, he's there. You need to go, Brad.
I will do that. I will reach out to him and see when that's going to be available. Bo and I actually, I feel like I had met him years and years ago. And I knew the name was familiar, but we had just crossed paths in the indie business, like in the late '90s and right around 2000. I was joining up, he was coming out, but we knew a lot of the same people on the indie circuit there. So we got to share that, and that was pretty cool, so to do that. But I just remember ever meeting him. I guess I may have at one point, but it was good anyway.
Here's Jeff, who's participating in the show today. I can remember Handsome as a heel back in the early Memphis days. His promo with Lawler calling him the name he did, and when he threw Coco's TV down was epic, and that absolutely was. We're going to play a couple of more things. Here's Michael talking to cousin Carl Fergie, Jerry Lawler's first cousin.
Okay. I see they got another king back there in the corner. I think he requested to stay over there, tuckered down in the corner away from me. So
hopefully you two might not. You might have to run into him before the night's over.
Nah, you know what? I'm going to have a little pity on him. He's getting old,
Oh, man. Hey, tell us about yourself. How are things going?
Everything's good. Everything's good. I couldn't decide, Mike, whether I wanted to be a wrestler tonight or an insurance man, so I brought both of them, So I just want to let it.
Some great photos from back in the day.
Thank you. Yeah, that's old school stuff, and people are excited to see that stuff, yeah.
Well, great crowd here today. It's great to have you here.
It's awesome, yeah.
It's great to be remembered, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's the fans, yeah, they're awesome.
King Carl Fergie, folks. You remember him, Night of Legends, the night to remember here in Jackson.
There you go.
Thank you, brother.
It was this past
KC,
Saturday
the
night.
Center in Jackson. What a big crowd.
Did a great job.
Great crowd it is here for the Hall of Fame meet and greet.
This
Michael.
is
And you're going into the Hall
the
of Fame
promoter
tonight,
of
aren't you?
Tennessee
I'm so used to
Championship
being on this
Wrestling,
side of the microphone.
KC,
That's going to be odd
Kenny
for me to be on
Cobble.
the other side, but I am. Thank you,
Very,
sir.
very well deserved. As a matter of fact, I will say, as you see, I'm wearing my Hall of Fame Burt Prentice t-shirt from 2021, and I have to say, if it weren't for Burt Prentice, I don't think I would even be here as part of this great event.
Great man that touched a lot of lives in professional wrestling.
Oh, absolutely. And I got to say, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have met Terry Golden, Terry Story, Randy Hales, the King, Jerry Lawler, some of these great, great legends. I would have never had that opportunity. And today I've had the opportunity to be a part of this great event, hosted here by Tennessee Championship Wrestling. And what a great day it is for the Hall of Fame.
Well, what a great day it is for Tennessee Championship Wrestling and keeping wrestling alive in this part of the country the way it is meant to be.
Oh, absolutely. And that's the thing, Michael. We want to keep it. We keep it family friendly. We keep it right down to the bare bones, just like the old Memphis days when y'all were coming around. Then look, I grew up watching you. So
now you're making me feel old.
I hope not. Not too old. Not too old, because.
Hey, Casey, this is a great event, and thank you a lot. Thank you so much for hosting this and being so much a big part of Memphis professional wrestling, keeping it alive.
Well, it is my honor and my privilege for it to be passed down that far, and I appreciate you guys coming out for this great event. I mean, just you can look around. There's just people everywhere here, and what a great turnout and a great day.
Well, thank you very much, and again, thank you for everything you've done, and let's have some fun tonight.
We're gonna have a lot of fun tonight, I promise you. There's some surprises coming. Y'all just wait.
You got it. Casey, thank you so much. Boy, we're just making our way around. I've got to do something right here. Let me get somebody on camera with me right here. This is Joshua, and
wow.
the Talking Memphis Wrestling podcast. This is my grandson, and he's on TV with us. Joshua, what do you think of this event?
Good.
Good. Do you like what you're seeing?
Yes.
Yeah. Have you met a lot of people that you see on TV every week on the podcast?
Yep.
And guess what they do? They know who you are right away. Does that make you feel good?
Yep.
All right. Say hello to everybody. Wave at them and say hello to Adam and the crew and Randy and everybody. This is my grandson, Joshua. He's 5, and he is the next generation of wrestling fans for Memphis Championship Wrestling.
When I met him, he was a little shy. He grabbed onto the granddad's leg and just kind of, hit around. But yeah, it was good to see him.
He came right to me. And I think we lost. We lost Scott? Where did Scott go?
He may. I don't know. He's been having connectivity problems. Maybe he rebooted or something, or got knocked off. I don't know. That's the only thing I could.
Did that bring back great memories from Saturday night?
Yeah, man. It was really special. I'm looking forward to next year. I know you're gonna have something special. You just throw the dates out there, and God willing, man, I'll do what I can to make it. Because I really had a good time, and the thing that, the wrestlers were interested in me when I went up to them and I just shook their hand and I introduced myself. I told them where I was from, and then it was just like, how do you know about Memphis wrestling? Growing up outside of Raleigh. So, I went through the magazines and whatnot and all. And some of the best conversations I had, Shane Russell and Dave were just great to talk to. Jerry Calhoun and his wife were just fantastic. Doug and Tommy and Tony Falk, Randy.
Great.
I think that he was just sitting there by himself over by the Power Pro table, and I was like, okay, Tony's, this is my chance to go over and, and meet him. And I just walked over there, and he was just sitting in the chair, and he was kind of shy. He didn't really open up, and it didn't take long for him to just start talking. And boy, the stories that were coming out, I didn't have to ask anything.
Right.
So I just, I was squatting down, and my legs, my feet and knees were starting to hurt because I'm getting old. So I just plopped on the floor there and sat there and listened to him, Randy, for about 45 minutes.
He's a
I
great
couldn't.
guy. Made a lot of trips. He's driven me around. I've driven him around. Scott's tablet went out, and so he apologizes for that, and that's no problem. Scott, I appreciate you being on. You really,
Yes,
um,
good to see him.
I was glad you got to see that stuff, and that was great as well. I got to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Brad, I appreciate so much you coming to Jacksontown. I put good thing we were in the same hotel and was glad to that you were able to help out with Henson and give him rides and visit with all that, and we all got a chance to see Dave Wills.
Yes, Dave. I met him in Charlotte just uh, back in August, and I'm glad that he made the trip up there. Now he's messaging me wanting me to go to something in Winston Salem later this year, but I don't know if I can make that happen. I got next month. I'm going to Charlotte again for the race.
Hi, everybody. Michael
then-
St. John talking
There he
Memphis
is.
Wrestling. We're right here
Yeah.
in Jackson, Tennessee at the Event
This is
Center.
good.
The big night to remember. Memphis
This is
Wrestling
starting
Hall
over
of Fame
again.
induction
Scott, if you're
ceremony.
there, I'm
I've
going to
known
play
this
this.
man. I'm not going to
I'm
tell
going
you
to
how
play
long.
this
Dave
up to
Wills. He is
great
wrestling's
job.
#1
Pat
fan
Rose, if you're still on,
worldwide.
we're
This
going to play
man
the.
is
I
known
think
all over. And let
we
me tell
do
you,
play the
Dave,
national anthem,
Memphis Wrestling.
but
You're
here is
probably
the
one
interview
of the
from
biggest
world
fans
famous
that didn't
wrestling
live in
fan
Memphis.
David Wills.
That was a fan of Memphis Championship Wrestling.
Absolutely. When I was younger, I grew up and started following wrestling back in about '86, way after Georgia Championship Wrestling. But we had the Joe Pedicino Superstars of Wrestling
We'll have
block
a
for
lot
8
more on
hours.
Tuesday's
And one of
show.
my biggest challenges
We
was
kind
to
of fast
stay up and
forward
watch Memphis,
and started
to
with
see
the
the
Lawler
great
Dundee
stars
thing.
like Lawler,
You'll like this right here. A
Dundee,
couple of great interviews.
Rich, Gilbert, so many of them. And to be here at Legends of Memphis Wrestling
killed
and
to
a
have
night
that
to
Pedicino
remember
for
is just such a privilege
6 or 8
and an
hours.
honor.
He
And I
was
tell
telling me
you, I
about
can't be more happy because Memphis Wrestling,
Man,
it's still
Dave was a
wonderful
talker,
today.
wasn't he?
It's fantastic. It's still my favorite. It's still real to me, damn it.
Yes, man. I knew you would get emotional on me, Dave. We've known each other for so long. Hey, love you, man. Love the business. Love Memphis Championship Wrestling. Love this man, Dave Wills.
People like Dave,
We're
Randy,
here
are like
to welcome you to the
make these
Memphis
things.
Wrestling Hall of Fame ceremony. A night to remember the legends of Memphis Wrestling, the Hall of Fame 2024. At this time, we would like to introduce our good friend Pat
I'm going
Rose's
to put
son,
this
Camden
full-
Smith, to
full
come
screen.
and
I
sing
hope
the
Pat
national
is
anthem.
still watching. Pat Rose's son, Camden, country music recording artist, did a fantastic job, and we're going to lay out.
Say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. Thank you guys so much.
Michael St. John.
Fantastic job.
Amen. That was a great way to kick the show off, man.
Man,
Great way.
it
Pat's
gives-
proud. I know he is. Got to be.
Yeah, he has to be, and I am too. It was just wonderful. Thanks for being with us, Brad. Final words?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I look forward to the shows next week. I know we didn't get to touch on it. We got talking about the Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame, but the Mr. McMahon series on Netflix. I got one more episode to watch on that. So nothing really stands out that we didn't already know. I don't know if have you gotten through it yet or
No.
okay.
No.
I've
read about it and listened to shows about it, and I didn't want to talk it, but it's uh, people come to this show most of the time to talk about the stars of Memphis wrestling, and we had such great interest in this program, and then we ran out of time. So,
Exactly.
Did you enjoy it overall?
From what I've seen, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I still got the last one. I think is probably the one that maybe opens up a little more, but yeah, it's been entertaining. That's for sure.
That's great. Thanks a lot for coming on tonight. You're great. Thanks a lot for you coming to Jackson, and we'll have you on the show again.
Appreciate it, Randy. I'll talk to you soon, buddy.
For Scott Middleton.
Good night, everybody.
For Scott, for Brad, I'm Randy Hales. Thanks for watching, and good night, Team Hales. We gone.